Hell, it's Base Trade TV.
All right, welcome back, guys. Let me just set up the score there real quick. This is the OlimoLeague. This is game number 3 in this best of 7 grand finals. Spawning here on the top right corner of the map, of course, getting from MVP, it's the blue Protoss player, YongHwa.
In the bottom left is the green Terran. It's Journey.
All right, Journey playing really well so far. I gotta be honest, Journey's TVP's never been horrible by any means. YongHwa's always been a pretty good player. I didn't expect this to start off as a 2-0 though, but at the same time, you know, we just watched IEM and Snoop led 2-0 versus Flash and then got turned around. So this is a great start for Journey, but hardly a win yet. This is a best of 7. He's gonna need 4 games, so 2 more wins if he wants to lock this down. I would love to see Journey win one of these though. He's a really good player and could definitely use it in his resume, currently being teamless.
Yeah, you know, Innovation dropped out of Acer, right?
Yeah, that
And
was
going
a bit
back
of a
to
shock.
Tesco.
I mean, Jesus, he's been like their, pardon my phrase, we hear ace player for quite some time.
Yeah, well, I mean, no one's really gonna argue that. I mean, of course, they had really other good players, right? But Innovation on that ATC role that he's always on. What was his like ending score? Like 20-1 or something?
It was really good. Way better than season 2. Season 2, he had a lot of weird losses because of the TVTs, but yeah, season 3 ATC, he had some amazing scores. But I gotta be honest, like better of the team or better for him or whatever the case may be. If we see him in like pro stuff, that's gonna be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I know, but I was just thinking, you know, like, you know, a lot of teams just really don't rely on Terrans a whole lot, you know, unless they're like the star Terrans. So SKT cut all their Terrans, including Journey, and I'm like, if they pick up Innovation and not Journey, I'm gonna be so angry.
Well, that's kind of the sad thing. Like, it's one of those. Journey is a fantastic player. I would say he could go toe to toe with most, but he's not popular is the problem, right? So that really affects like your star power when trying to join a team.
Yeah, well, it's also just like they have the 4 to 5 players that are all not Terran. You know, it's kind of intentional, I'm guessing, because Terran just didn't perform strongly, I should say. Unless you were like Maru, Flash, and you know the top ones. But you know they do have the 5 players just coincidentally are not Terran, and that's why they don't have any Terrans. But anyways, I just and Journey, I think he said he doesn't want to actually go back to a Kespa team too. So.
Yeah, no, I know he's looking for foreign teams, but there's so far and few that are willing to pick up a player from Korea and fly him around the world. Because I think for players too, and I know this from experience with talking a lot of them, getting flights and hotels paid for events is way more important to them than salaries a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially for Koreans who aren't used to actually getting salaries, right? Like, for the most part, their entire career,
yeah, but I mean,
it's
the idea of flying someone from Korea to Europe, flying someone from Korea to Toronto for IEM. Like, that's not going to be cheap. You'd almost rather pay him a salary, like.
Yeah, well, you know, it's $2,000, I would say, you know, just for the flight. So maybe you get a good deal on a hotel, still pretty darn expensive. YongHwa is actually gonna go ahead and mix it up finally. Last game, he kind of the same thing he did the first time too. Less hasty in the charge, I think, but this time he's gonna go straight into a Twilight Council, and it is immediately scouted.
Yeah, SV does go down, so because I'm not horrible, I remember First Blood this time. Pretty bad at it. Yo, by the way, before I went to Toronto, I got a new keyboard, right? Because I remember telling you about like my Razer one getting screwed over from all the rum I just spilled on it. I got back and I'm trying to learn to use this WASD keyboard, but I didn't realize like I should have just got the same switches I had before. Because green switches are really weird to get used to. I didn't realize which ones I had gotten.
Oh, you didn't know?
Like I just picked like. I don't know, the drop down menu was like, I don't know, just pick one and go type thing. I didn't really look into it because my old keyboard had blue switches.
Never heard of anyone using green.
Well, they're new, so whatever. I guess I just picked whatever the default new thing was. I'm horrible.
What the hell is green anyways? Are they like loud or soft or?
They're just like really, they push back.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's it's weird because like even though we're just observing and I don't have a lot of buttons to press, it's still just the new keyboard. The cool thing was the keyboards, like they let you customize the keyboards, right? So I totally made like the Asian like this face on my keyboard with green keys.
job, man. Oh, you know, those are pretty important scout. You know, those Helens didn't do a lot of things, but they actually did, in fact, get up to the ramp. They saw that there was three gateways in a position that says, like, don't scout me, right? So there could have been definitely a lot more behind that. And Journey just, you know, obviously assumes that an attack was coming. Put it under the bunker.
Yeah.
But YongHwa canceled one. And it looks to be just going into, getting 2 gases going in tech.
Well, one thing I'm liking about YongHwa, he did this in the first game as well. Lots of observers on the map, lots of vision, looking what's going on. But with the amount of Widow Mines Journey's been investing into, getting these Widow Mines out so much, or not Widow Mines, sorry, the, oh, nice sniper with that one. The observers out earlier is such a big deal because now you can actually deal with these rather than just losing countless gateway warp-ins over and over and over again to these Widow Mines, which has been an active problem in the series so far.
Journey is still under the impression that this attack is coming. YongHwa might just go ahead and, like, you know, warp in a couple of stalkers because you're gonna get stalkers anyways. You got Blink, not only for aggression but also sometimes as just an opener going to Colossus because of course they deal with the Vikings. So he might warp in, like, you know, 6 or something. You know, he has a proxy pylon. Make Journey over defend. Make Journey, like, you know, be more worried about getting medevacs. I mean, for instance, like, you could already say that Journey is affected because instead of getting a reactor on that factory, he's building Widow Mines out of it, and, you know, obviously now the medevac's are coming out only one at a time, so his medevac push is going to be places late or whatever. But YongHwa, I think Journey in like 5 seconds should realize, okay, maybe it's not coming. Like, it's been a while.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, one of the hardest things to do is get a scout on that double forge. Scanning home to pick off the observer, not too bad, but I mean, this paranoia could have been solved with like one decent scan. You see the main, you see double forges, you know there's not a blink all incoming, right? Then this bunker, the main gets salvaged, production picks up. I mean, you guys have to consider with like 3 bunkers down, that's 2 less Raxes, perhaps his second starport coming out earlier, you know, everything he needs rather than what he's fearing from. I mean, it's good that he went for this. There's no question about that. But the problem is he doesn't need it anymore. And Journey's not one of those guys to overly scan.
Yeah, I think he realizes it though. He's yet to actually salvage the bunker, but he has this drop with Widow Mines, not only maybe returning some damage, but also scouting. He's going to see that there's a lot of guys in gas. He's probably going to see a couple of the sentries warped in.
I'm actually really liking the position of the mothership for it. It's so out of place, but it gives a lot of extra vision towards this drop. Doesn't really take advantage of it. Oh, gonna get the... No, he pulls the approach out, so 2 go down. Medevac dies as well. Ooh, that's going to sting for Journey. Oh, did he never find this pylon? Oh, no.
Oh, that's gonna suck for his 3rd placement,
That's
too.
really gonna suck for his 3rd placement. Holy cow.
Yeah, oh well. Journey's gonna push across the map now. YongHwa has a Colossus, he has a couple of force fields. Journey's not gonna do anything, at least, like, you know, face value. Might still start that, those drops that we saw were fairly effective in the last 2 games. But this is such a good map for Protoss because, well, they're allowed to get on 3 bases really fast. YongHwa can actually not be so scared to get that 3rd base a lot earlier. I think last time he got like 12:30, now he's getting at 11:30, it's a minute earlier. It's pretty nice, and he has to, like, not only does this 3rd, obviously, like, it's a 3rd, but it also allows your army to be in a position where, you know, medevacs would be flying over it. Like, that's exactly where Journey would fly his medevacs over to go to the main. No. Well, now there's stalkers in his army there.
I know we're like doing Starcraft, all this other real stuff, but look at this Ace Namgasm like train we got going in chat. Oh, who's this? Hamarn 2, you ruined it, man. You ruined it. There's no context for it. We just had it rocking and rolling.
My emoticons aren't working, so.
And your emoticons never work. Can you, like,
maybe.
Learn to just reformat, please. Jesus.
No. Just for emoticons, no.
Oh, hell yeah, just for emoticons. Emoticons are the best. Ooh, lots of Marauders in this drop. This is really nice. This is what I like to see. It's not so much about dealing with the Stalkers or anything like that, but Marauders get to tear through buildings like nobody's business. If you want to see pylons go down in very quick fashion, get a lot of Marauders. So this drop's pretty Marauder heavy. It'll deal with the Stalkers, perhaps, but he's still got to worry about these medevacs because one thing YongHwa has been really good at, ooh, nice catch over here, has been sniping off these medevacs all game. Yeah, we'll focus them down immediately. But too many Marauders on the ground. Big snipe on that pylon. No warpins coming in just yet. One of mine does go down to help deal with the Zealots that are sure to come. Of course, this Colossus are 2 to worry about. If that 4th that died earlier hadn't died, he could have run into the 3rd right around now, but that force to pick up, leave some Marauders behind. Journey's like, what do I do with these medevacs? They're full.
Indecision.
What do I do with my hands?
There's like this, I'm sorry, there's a GIF on I think it was like Reddit or something where it's like a bunny just like going back and forth. It's like, what do I do? That was Journey right there.
Yeah, we
But,
need
you
that.
know,
Like, that could be like our second Hades gift, right? Like, anybody? What do I do? What do I do?
it happens so often too. Like when you accidentally don't pick up the Marines, and you're like, what do I do?
Well, it's not even
But,
just
you know,
Terran. We see this a lot. Like, honestly, in every matchup, there's like that level of decision that we've seen like cost the game. But gets caught here on the right side of the map. Not going to cost him the game, but will cost him a medevac and a couple stalkers, or sorry, marauders. Hopefully, YongHwa doesn't blink forward, and there we go. Just gonna disengage.
Yeah, I almost would have preferred Journey not go for the huge team drop, but just like split it up, because that seems to be what's most effective. Occasionally the team drop works. We see them snipe the main nexus all the time. I mean, Flash is doing it. I am Toronto, you know, a lot of TVPs, but you know, just going into the natural, because there is one thing about YongHwa taking this base specifically. It helps out against drops, but there is like, you know, this entire left side that you can abuse and get into the natural, which is usually not a target. Usually you're focusing on the main and the third, but it, you know. It can be a very good one.
Yeah, there's so many pylons just littered around the map. Finally, they get cleaned up. You know, I was really worried about this one down here. I'm surprised we didn't see a couple zealots warped in, just run towards that mineral line. Oftentimes, it doesn't take more than 2 or 3 to really just disrupt a Terran
player. Are you
player.
gonna go over the pylon because God knows why? Okay, whatever.
He was like, "Oh, I'll dodge that other pylon that I just killed." Psych. YongHwa knew what was up. Woodmines, of course, need to burrow if they want to get involved with the fight. There is one observer on the front lines, but Journey, once again, was a little bit late to the party here with the Vikings, so can't quite deal with the Colossus very easily. He's only actually going to have about 5 for this, and that certainly is not going to be enough. Nice Widowmine shot, though. Takes all the shields away from these Zealots. Basically, a good EMP gets landed. Another shot does go off before dying. Meanwhile, looks like he's going to, sandwich this perhaps in the middle of the map? Coming back home with his forces, not going for the drop. He's got his forces here in the natural, pulls the SCVs back, but with his force fields, he's forced to fight.
Oh, that would have been so good if his army wasn't so far away. Now half his army dies for not a whole lot of the Protoss.
Get top the Colossus! Don't shoot stalkers! Get top the Colossus! What do mines do, bro? Good take. Oh, there's so many Zealots, though. Oh my god. Journey is just getting cleaned up. He's getting annihilated. Even if he deals the Colossus, I don't think he can get. Just the way he deals with the Zealots.
Yeah, that's the worst feeling of a Terran player.
Yeah,
Even
this
though
is
he's consistently getting Widow Mines.
Yeah, this is YongHwa saying, like, look, you think Widowmines counter Zealots? Let me show you 3 games later what I'm talking about. But with the Colossus, a little bit. Man, if all these Widowmines are off cooldown, holy cow.
YongHwa has to be so careful. That would have went so much, like, so beautifully. Journey's army was like 5 seconds further ahead.
Yeah, if it had been back, like, just ever so slightly.
He still almost takes it down, but you know what? He just lost all of his Vikings. It wasn't very high Viking count to begin with, and now there's 2 Colossus, like, out of nowhere, apparently. Oh, no.
It's time for the Widowmine. Please repair the Ghost Academy Journey. This is so expensive. There we go. Okay, nice repairing it. Thank God. Yo, hang on. This has nothing to do with anything. I just remembered. We saw a cosplay at IEM. Someone wore the SCB hats, the party hats.
Oh yeah, we also saw an SKT cosplayer, which is kind of great to see. Like the SKT mascot.
ADD. Anyways, in full retreat, back away from the army once again. Archon's finally coming out. Those ghosts on the way. This is not looking good for Journey, though. His army supply is matching that of YongHwa, but you never really want to match a Protoss army supply. If you can't as a Terran player, you need to be ahead. The only thing going for him well is YongHwa hasn't really taken his 4th. He's long distance mining off of it, but once he maxes out, he's got some money to spare. He'll certainly take that 4th base from Journey. Good spot of trouble.
I think at this point, with so many Widowmines being so, like, you know, getting those really great Widowmine hits, scanning for the Observer is even more important than you would if he had Ghosts. Unfortunately, still doesn't have a lot of Vikings. That's the worst thing about his composition. It's not just that, you know, his army value is the same. It's that it's a bad army value. It's like the bio army is the biggest part.
He's going to force to pull the ACVs in. This might get some of the Colossus with it, but again, those Zealots at the front lines and Archon's charging forward as well. There's just no easy way to deal with this. Not with the current composition of Journey. Kites away, kites nicely, but the Vikings go down. 1 Colossus remains. Ghosts are out. Needs to EMP that Colossus, or the Archon, either way. Doesn't let the EMP in either, sadly.
Not sure why he's pulling back.
Going to pull down on the Archon. Nope.
Yeah, this is looking like Journey's just gonna lose here. No counterattack damage going on. YongHwa's still on 3 base. He's on 2 too. They're both on on 3 the entire time.
Oh, the CC falls. That's no good. Yeah, Journey, if he had more SCVs to pull into this might be one of those, like, you pull the boys and go for like a full-on counterattack, because you wipe out all the Colossus, you wipe out all the Archons, but yeah, he was just dwindling at this point. GG's called. Game number 3 will actually go to YongHwa during the series around now 2-1. Still, though, in the favor of Journey.